welcome back. Today I'm here with a book haul, and a sizable one at that, because I have 11 books to share with you all today, so I'm just gonna jump right in. The first book on my list here is actually one that I bought before my last book haul video, but when I sat down to film it, I had completely forgotten that I'd bought this one. So this one has actually been on my shelf for a minute, but it's been on a top shelf, and I'm short, so forgive me. Yes, this is The Wicked Deep by Shea Earnshaw, and admittedly, this was a total cover buy for me. It's gorgeous looking. I'd been seeing this one on Instagram quite a bit, and I'd especially been seeing it from people whose book opinions I generally trust, so that combined with the gorgeous cover, I couldn't resist, and I bought it. And it actually sounds pretty interesting. So the story is set in a small town in Oregon, and I am from Portland, Oregon, so that's fun. And it's a local author, or Oregonian author, not Portlander. In this town that the book is set in, 200 years back, there were these three sisters who were accused of witchcraft and burned at the stake or executed somehow. But before they were killed, they laid a curse on the town, and now we're 200 years in the future, and we're dealing with the curse. It sounds like the curse is going to be broken. I'm not sure if it's like a descendant of the sisters or what that will break the curse, but it's an interesting setup. It's a beautiful cover, and I'm excited to get into it. Next is A Night in the Lonesome October by Roger Zelazny. This is a book that my girlfriend Jess has read many times. She likes to read it in October because it's set in October, and it's just a really fun sort of spoopy, I would say, less spooky than spoopy, Halloween type read. I picked it up so that I could also read it this year, and it's a very cute one, so I'm glad I did. Then I've also recently picked up 3 books for the S'more Sci-Fi Book Club podcast that I co-host. First is one that I was really impressed by, and that is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson. I got this one from the Book Depository because I just thought that the cover looked pretty, but I didn't realize how fancy this book was when I ordered it. I thought it was going to be sort of a standard trade paperback, but it's got this faux leather cover with the metallic thing going on. It's got the ribboned bookmark, really pretty end pages, and it's got this sort of maroon edging to go with the cover. Yeah, and just the art is really cute. It's got this test tube. I was very impressed with it. Yeah, so I already was expecting it to be cute, but I was even more blown away when it actually showed up at my door. And this has the story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, plus other stories by Why do I keep saying Roger? By Robert Louis Stevenson. And I'd never read anything by him before I read Jekyll and Hyde, but I really enjoyed his writing style, so now I'm extra glad to have some of his other stories that I can dip into at some other point in the future. And in the same order that I made from the Book Depository, I also got 2001: A Space Odyssey by Arthur C. Clarke, which this we read several months back in S'more Sci-Fi, but I read it in a Kindle version, and I realized recently that it was the only book I didn't have a physical copy of from the podcast, and that was just really bugging me because I have this shelf behind me is all the S'more Sci-Fi books, so it just felt incomplete to not have 2001. So I got this copy. It's got this nice matte cover, sort of your standard cover art for this book, and I'm happy to have it because now I just feel it's all together, and that makes me pleased. And the final book I picked up for S'more Sci-Fi is our upcoming November read, and that is The Werewolf Principle by Clifford D. Simak. This one I just got from Amazon because they only have the one cover version, I think. Got some wolf action on there, and this book is sort of a werewolf alien thing with AI. It sounds really interesting, so I'm excited to try it out, but I have no idea what I'm getting into, and we will see in some amount of weeks. My next 2 books are very special, and they are together as a little set here, and they are some antique, I believe 1905 illustrated versions of Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. They've got the ribbons. They're actually in very good condition for being so old, and I'm so excited about these. So if you missed my video from last week or the week before, I had a vlog of my trip to Idaho with Jess, and during that trip there was a little book adoption day where her grandparents brought over some books that they wanted to find new homes for, and we all went through them, and these were among the books. So you can see some of the illustrations. It seems a very fragile book, but it's so pretty, and it just seems really special, and it was such a wonderful activity. It was such a wonderful idea to do this book adoption day thing. So yeah, now I have these two on my shelf, and I'm very, very excited about it. Then, of course, since my last haul video, I've made a trip to Powell's, so I have a couple books from that trip to share with you all. And the first is a genre I don't talk about quite as often, but I am a fan of: the Cozy Cat Mysteries. So this is a book by Sophie Kelly. It's called A Tale of Two Kitties, and it is part of her Magical Cat mystery series. I started the series several years ago. I read the first book, Curiosity Thrilled the Cat, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I had picked it up just because the cover, the title, the pun in the title is great. The cover has these two cats in this library. There's swirls of magic all around them. I thought that was too cute not to pick up, and it was a used copy, so it was pretty inexpensive, and I was pleasantly surprised by how fun of a mystery it was. And I picked up the next couple books. I started reading them, and soon I just started to get a little bit over it. I felt like the subsequent books weren't quite as good as this first one. I felt like I'd already knew all the characters, so it was a little predictable. But I have not read them in quite a long time, and this is the newest book in her series, so I'm giving this one a try. Or at least I'm going to have it on my shelf for one of those days when I just need something light and fluffy and happy like a Cozy Cat Mystery. So yeah, I'm gonna give this one a try. I'm gonna go back to the series and see what I think. But sometimes you just need one of these. You need to mix something in that's just cats with magic, solving mysteries, and it's great. And on that same Powell's trip, I picked up one other book, which I've actually talked about quite a lot already, and I already had a copy of it, but it is There Before the Chaos by KB Wagers. The copy that I had was an ARC version, and I don't know, I just wanted to get the official published version. I wanted to support KB Wagers in whatever way that I can, so I picked this one up, and I'm excited to have it on my shelf. Plus, I just assume that the subsequent books are going to have a similar look to this one, so I like to have them all matching, and now I have a better chance at that. KB Wagers also recently contributed to an anthology called Rebels and Revenants. She posted about this on Patreon, and she was offering signed copies if you bought it in a specific way, so I did, and I got a signed copy. This one just sounds really interesting. The back says it features the dead and the undead, ghosts both figurative and literal, elder gods and Egyptian queens, and, funny enough, more than a little rebellion. Most of all, these 11 stories have heart with a strong sense of family threading through them, either the one you're born to or the one you make. So that sounds completely up my alley. It's got this really nice, one of those nice buttery sort of covers, and I'm excited to try it out at some point. And the final book in my haul here is Iron Gold by Pierce Brown. This is actually another one that I already owned in a different format. I had the Kindle version, and I was waiting to get the paperback version. Personally, I generally prefer a trade paperback over a hardcover book, and I've already been getting all of the Red Rising books in paperback, so I was specifically waiting until this one came out in paperback form so I could pick it up, and it just came out last month, so here we are. Also, full disclosure, I have 2 copies of this book now, and I still have not read it, so I don't know what that says about me, but that is my truth. And that concludes my latest book haul. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of this haul. Do you have any of these books? Have you read any of these books? Do you like antique books? What is your preference on hardback versus paperback? Let's discuss. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you'd like to see more. I hope you all are having a wonderful week so far, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!